Newcastle takeover confirmed. Mohammed bin Salman, the new owner, well, along with a couple of other entities. But it's basically him. Uh,
Richest owner ever in the Premier League. I mean,
by a
his
margin.
his wealth is more than all the other 19 teams combined.
So apparently, um, someone did the math, and because of Newcastle's business over the past 3 years, they have with the new takeover, they will have up to 200 million to spend right off the bat
Yeah.
within FFP. Another thing that I heard was Saudi Arabia is actually going to launch their own airlines, who are conveniently going to be the sponsors for Newcastle United. So wonder how much money they'll get from that sponsorship deal. I'm honestly happy for Newcastle fans because not that I approve of this takeover at all, but I mean Mike Ashley kind of ran the club into the ground. So at least I feel out of this one group of supporters will at least come out happy. Because both you and I can agree that neither Newcastle fans were happy, nor were neutrals watching Newcastle play happy with anything that Newcastle were doing over the last few
For sure.
years. Take all those heavy burdens kind of away from you, and hopefully they're looking at a very promising change to their club and some really exciting years up in front of them.
Yeah, let's just call it as it is. I mean, let's use the proper term. The term is sports washing. So,
It's
and yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to comment that it's so sad that there is just a widely accepted term for this already, and like nobody's even batting an eye. And even when the FA were trying to uh, rule on whether they should allow for the takeover to go through or not, the human rights portion didn't even come into the picture. It was
It's
all about
obvious.
their conflict with BN Sports, where they were banned in Saudi Arabia, which is why the move didn't go through last year. But then Saudi obviously picked up their act, paid them off, got them back into the country, and lo and behold, they are now in charge of Newcastle.
I
But
mean, what was $1 billion for them? $1 billion was the reported payoff, right? Be it $1 billion or euros or pounds or all of them combined. For them, it's just like writing a check to their utilities. Oh, okay, end of the month, this is what I pay for utilities. Here you go, 1 billion, take it and leave. I mean, the Premier League, which like supposedly now shows the Black Lives Matter thing and things like that, talks about how they don't want racism involved in football and whatever. But now they are actually letting countries, nations that are at the bottom of the human rights index to like just get in and like clean up their image. The Premier League themselves are a failed act, and for them to like act ignorant, I was never surprised about them acting ignorant about this. They only cared about the money, and it clearly shows.
I don't know why people are surprised. And Gary Neville, I heard, was a little miffed about the move, and he talked about, and I think he's part of the commentary team for the Qatar World Cup. So I don't know what he's like, where he's coming from on that. So there is just so much hypocrisy in the whole situation. I'm going to try and move away from that. I want to just get your take on what you think Newcastle will look like going through. Let's say the next 5 years, because I think that's more of a realistic time frame for them to kind of really achieve something. Let's say, but where do you see Newcastle now? Because there are already so many top dogs in the Premier League. Do you think the Mohammed bin Salman was a little too late to the party?
Anyone with unreal amounts of money is never too late to the party. The party starts after they get in. Newcastle do have a good stadium. I think they can just do some facelift and upgrade it. St. James's Park already an iconic venue. It's just going to keep
Not
keep
been called St.
everyone getting
James's.
coming in.
It's not been called St. James's Park for a while. I wonder. I'm curious to
Yeah,
know whether they kind of
Sports
go back to the
Direct.
original. Yeah, I'm curious to know whether they at least go back to the original name, just as a sign of respect for the fans.
What I really think is they might get a couple of stars early on just to have that brand pull and get someone like a talisman who they'll build their squad around. They might falter, but they have a January window where they can experiment, and in the summer, I'm sure they'll go all guns blazing and get an entire new team. Even Steve Bruce, for that fact, he mentioned that they definitely don't want me here. And he also mentioned that he's old enough and he's been in the Premier League or the English League long enough to understand that a new owner always wants everything new. And maybe not competing for the top spot yet, but they're going to be coming closer to that in 3 years, and maybe in 5 years, they'll have a very competitive team.
Who do you think their first big signing is going to be?
Uh, is there any disgruntled superstar right now? I can't remember. Unless,
Well, there is Paul Pogba at
unless,
Manchester United,
yeah,
and
but
there is Mo
then
Salah who's running out his contract right now as well.
I doubt Salah would go though, because he's already riding a huge wave. And why would he want to like go to Newcastle when he's nearing the end of his career? I mean, yes, for a good paycheck, yes, but he knows that he won't get titles immediately. Harry Kane. Harry Kane can be a sure shot bet. I think so. I mean, he probably has more chance of lifting a trophy with a new Newcastle side than being with Tottenham. 150, they would even pay 200 million for him. For them, it doesn't really matter. But yes, FFP, right? FFP.
I'm pretty sure they'll find their way around though.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
Oh,
One name.
I think it's going to be. I feel it's going to be more like rejects from big clubs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like Aaron Ramsey come back to Newcastle, Coutinho come back to Newcastle. I wouldn't be surprised if those are the players that they kind of go for. Players that they have a decent reputation, but clubs don't really want to like clubs actually actively want to let go of them, because I feel most of the big players will kind of be a little wary of that sort of move to the side. Like Mo Salah, after having all that success with Liverpool, may not see Newcastle as the right next step. Same thing with Paul Pogba. I mean, he's pretty much set on going to Spain. Even with Harry Kane, I feel he will have a little bit of that sort of humanitarian reputation part of it, sort of pulling him back. Because I mean, Man City is like proven success ground. Newcastle still sort of dicey situation. But I feel for players like I said, for Aaron Ramsey, that's the perfect way to come back to the Premier League. Juventus will be happy. He'll be happy to be in the Premier League and collecting lots of money. Um, so that those are the kind of moves that I see them making, um, first up. But I'll be really excited to see the first real superstar that they sign.